Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by Fully Funded Life. My name is Joe Sangle, and we're committed to helping you live your fully funded life, being able to do exactly what you've been put on earth to do, regardless of the cost or the income potential it has. And I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Megan Hibbard. Are you fired up today?
Fired up.
Yes, and we're in the middle of Love Month.
Love. L.
And this is episode number?
This is episode 242.
You know, I'm reminded when I hear of 242, I'm reminded of Acts 2:42, where it talks about how the disciples devoted themselves one to another, giving to any who's had need.
Yep.
And so it's a form of love. They were devoted one to each other.
That's
Devoted is a good word with love. Now we're working through an acronym of the word love for Love Month.
Yes.
And we worked through L, which was
language.
and we worked through O, which was not obstacle, it was
opportunity.
and when we were creating this, we had so much fun coming up with V words. Okay. Tell them.
Just think for a second of V words, will you? Just think. How many V words do you know? And then
Victory in Jesus.
Why did we think of victory? That would be
I don't know.
But
Victory doesn't fit though. It's a good word.
Doesn't fit. No.
Okay, so list some of the words we came up with.
This one is one that you came up with. Velvety.
Velvety. Well, do you think about velvety? You know, Barry White's velvety voice.
This was our first V.
It's the love month. It's velvety and stuff.
Okay.
Like, you've seen hearts that have velvet?
We were like, okay, maybe we can work with velvety.
Okay, velvety. And then we came up with a financial V.
Yeah,
what was
like,
that?
Okay, I was like, Visa.
Visa. There we
need
go.
to do Visa.
This is sponsored by Visa. Go into debt
And
for
then
Valentine's Day.
I felt like I earned my keep when
You did.
I came up with
You finally got it.
vision.
Vision. La, the angels sing. They flutter about. Okay? So that's right. We've talked about language. We've talked about O for opportunity, and V is for vision.
Velvety vision.
So we're going to have a Velveta vision.
Velveeta.
Now, Velveeta's funny. We came up with Velveeta as well. And I ask you, have you ever had Velveeta?
Yes.
Yes. And me too. I've had Velveeta as well. And so, you know, I remember my mother would get this brick of Velveeta cheese, which is very unique. It's processed cheese food, I think is what it's called. It's awesome. And I do love it. And I'm telling you, if you've never had mac and cheese made with Velveeta, woohoo! I want that right now for breakfast. That'd be awesome.
If you went to a Super Bowl party last night, you probably had something with Velveeta in it.
Yeah.
So one of my favorites is the dip, the chip dip. So it has like Velveeta, it has sausage in it, it has like Rotel, so it's like a little bit of a kick.
Whew.
It's good.
I love that. I've had that before. It's one of my favorites. And so, you know, we'd love for you to comment on your favorite. Have you ever had Velveeta? Number one.
If not, go.
And what is your favorite Velveeta snack? Yeah. And if not, then V stands for Velveeta and go buy it today. This is sponsored by Velveeta.
V stands for vroom.
Yeah. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Victory, Velveeta. Visa. Don't put it on your Visa. Let's have vision. Let's catch up here. We got some sort of mess going on right now.
Oh, man. Okay. Let's recoup.
Okay. So we're going to talk about vision, and we're going to talk about vision for your love, vision for your marriage and your family. And when we talk about vision around here, we talk about how that vision, it should drive your money decisions, not the other way.
Yep.
A lot of people allow their current financial situation to drive all of their vision or the lack thereof. And therefore that affects their love, their betrothed, their devoted one. And so we don't want that to happen. And our passion for you is to have, you know, a fully funded life with the one you love, right? With your spouse. And, you know, Jenny and I, we have vision for our life. You have vision. You and Jordan have vision for your life. And a lot of that's written down because that's rung number one of the ladder. And so here's the question that I would have. What is the vision that you, podcast listener, have for your marriage and family, for your love? It's a good question, isn't it?
It is a good question.
I'm going to pause for a second and let you think about that. Maybe you're listening to this while you're running on the treadmill. This is Joe Sangle.
Dr.
What is the
Love.
vision? I'm not Dr. Love. What is the vision for your marriage and family?
The deep voice, I can't.
I'm trying. It's not Barry White, though. Barry White can about make the microphone fall off here, just that low bass. You know, what is the vision you have for your marriage and family? So let me ask you this question. Is your vision to be broke? Do you think their vision is to be broke?
I would guess no.
Okay. Yet many are broke. So why is this? What do you think?
I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to, do you have plans, hopes, and dreams that are propelling you forward to budgeting, to investing, to getting out of debt?
It could be summed up with no, and what's our V word?
Vision.
No vision. It's not no Visa. It's not no Velveeta, although you need Velveeta. It's because they have no vision.
Yeah.
And so we really want to encourage you here as we are in the third part of this Love Month to really be intentional about having vision for your love, for your marriage, for your life, for your relationships. And so let's give them several tips about vision.
Yep. All right. So the first one is, it should fire both of you up. Vision. Does it
Yeah.
fire you up?
Does it fire you up? That's really good.
Yeah.
Like, does it fire you up? Vision paints a picture of the future, and it asserts itself with an ever-burning desire. I think an architect named Daniel Burnham, I believe, in Chicago said something like that, that with a strong, big vision, it asserts itself with an ever-increasing urgency. It's always there. It moves you forward. It compels you to propel you forward. A lot of pells there.
Yeah.
And it should fire you up. This vision should. And it should also do what?
Yep. It should compel you to want to progress financially.
Right. It should compel you to propel you to progress financially. Like vision is not to stay stuck. No. Vision is not to be broke. Vision is not to go bankrupt. Vision is about moving forward. Vision is about a preferred future. Vision is about what could be. If these things were in place, this is what could happen. We were wired to achieve. Humans were. We were wired to do things. We were wired to discover. We were wired to figure things out. That's one of the reasons why I really believe God scattered gold all over the earth and why he scattered gems all over the earth, that he knew it would attract our eyes, and he knew we would love more than the treasure itself. We would love the treasure hunt. We would love the hunt. That's why when people find a big thing of gold, they don't stop going and looking for gold. They go the next day looking for more because it's a vision for them. And if you think about your relationship, it should compel you, this vision, to progress financially. It should compel you. It's a very strong word, isn't it?
It is.
To say, we are going to do a budget because we are going, you've mentioned several times in the podcast, to Bora Bora. We're going to the Caribbean, and you say where? You say all of it. Right?
Yes.
It should compel you to say, we are going to build this house on this type of land, this space, this place. It should compel you to say, we want to be givers, and we're going to give ourselves of our time and our energy and of our finances to these causes, whether it is to advancing the gospel or it is to help with some nonprofit cause that we're passionate about. Whatever that vision is, it should fire both of you up, and it should compel you to move forward.
We have a new one.
Okay.
Jordan wants to take Logan to Disney World.
Come on.
It's like a recent, it is firing him up. He wants to go. He looks at it a lot. It is happening. The unfortunate thing is, if you're under 3, I think you get in for free, which he's about to be 4. But I feel like when they're under 3, they don't really appreciate it or understand it. So we are waiting. But yeah, So one day,
That'll cost you money.
catch us at Disney.
Did Jordan go to Disney World as a young man?
He's been, but it's been a long time since he's been. And my sister and her family just went. So we hear all the stories, and she took their 3 kids. And
Well, I know this. I never went to Disney as a kid and didn't know I would ever go to Disney. And I remember taking my 3-year-old daughter or so to Disney. She wore us out. And we went to Disneyland.
okay.
So I remembered that moment. And so then I said, you know what? Should the Lord ever bless us with another one, we're going to do that again. And I actually waited till my son was 6.
Okay.
And I was in Baton Rouge speaking, and we organized it to go down be there on a Monday. And Jenny and Keaton flew down to Orlando on Sunday evening, and I flew in late Sunday evening after speaking. And I remember crawling in there, and they'd went to Disney Springs. This was at Disney World in Orlando. And he was just laying in bed, just a picture of contentment. He had went to the Lego store, and we went to Animal Kingdom one day, and we went to Magic Kingdom another day. And he had the time of his life. And so you should definitely do that.
Yeah.
Right? Do you see this? It should compel you to want to do this, right?
Yeah.
It's a magical place. It's wonderful. And it should also build on your specific strengths, giftings, and skill sets. When we're thinking about this vision, think about the strengths you bring to the relationship, the giftings that you have, the skill sets you have. So we've heard, all of us listening to the podcast have heard quite a bit, how Jordan brings big, grand idea.
He does.
And you have the gifting of helping make that become reality.
Yes.
I mean, really.
We're a good pair.
That's what I've heard. I don't know what our podcast listeners have heard, but that's what I've heard a lot is you hear vision, and then you get that gifting to working, to processing, to maneuvering to do it.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful gift. And so you're using your gifting. You want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think the amazing thing about Jordan is he has the vision, the big time. He's a dreamer. He loves to think about it, but he also he's the main one in our family who does the finances, which is funny because of my job. But he has a finance degree. He loves it just as much, probably maybe even more, like the spreadsheet side of it. But I think it's a good combination to have the dreamer and to have the doer. I'm kind of blessed because I have kind of both in him, which is nice. But it is good because if you didn't have the dreamer, what would you be working towards? It's easy for me to get caught in the mundane of the bills and this has to happen and we have to pay for this and this, and that's not very fun.
No.
So when you have the dreamer who's able to help and say this is what we're working towards Disney now. I don't know when we're going to go. We need to talk about details and stuff like that, but this is a new dream. And, and we get Logan involved, and Logan's able to come along with us and say we talk about it a lot. He loves Mickey Mouse.
Mouse Clubhouse.
And so, yes. Yeah. And so he loves that we're going Mickey's house.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mickey Mouse. Ha!
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
And so you're able to bring your family into it, and you're able to,
Yeah, something tells me as you bring your family into it, there might be some grandparents who don't want to miss those magical moments.
That's true.
I'm just telling you.
Grandparents might. Yeah.
So I think, speaking to that, I think the other tip we'd like to share with everybody is don't make it hard or difficult. Like vision, it doesn't have to be printed. It doesn't have to be forced. But what it does need to be, it has to be a reflection of who you as a couple want to be. Mm-hmm. Make sure it reflects you. Yeah. And so, it's not difficult to sit and have the conversation about Disney.
Yeah.
And you can imagine those moments when you round the corner in Main Street. Have you been there?
I have.
To Disney World?
It's been a while, but I have been there.
When you see Cinderella's castle and that moment, I'm telling you, I took my baby girl. I'm just going to cry thinking about it. I mean, I teared up. She was just completely overwhelmed, happy.
Yeah.
And then, we got the thing that blows the bubbles, and she ran around all day with bubbles going all over everybody, and kids are behind slapping and popping bubbles, and life was never greater. It's never greater. And it brings you back to where you were as a kid, and it's a great moment. Yeah. So I know it sounds like an advertisement for Disney, but there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who've been there this year already. There are tens of millions the world over who've been enchanted by the mouse and all of his buddies because they have vision and it's magical. And so this vision thing, we really encourage you, have a vision for your relationship, have a vision for your life together. And so I have a story that I'd like to share about how vision moves things. I'm the way that I serve in my community is with Boy Scouts. And it's interesting, Boy Scouts allow girls in it now, but they can't say Boys and Girl Scouts because there's a thing called Girl Scouts. So we've referred to it most of the time as scouts and scouting. And, I joined this troop and, this is how I'm investing one night a week into these young scouts. And, we injected some new vision into the scouts. COVID happened. It set back anybody who's gathering, people couldn't gather. And so me and the Scoutmaster have kind of been meeting collaboratively together and we formed a really good committee. And we kind of had vision for, hey, we need to recruit. And the Cub Scout pack that was funneling into us, it has folded because of COVID. It just has not recovered. And so it's like, hey, we need to make sure we have a good plan that is compelling. And one of the things that our scouts do is they get to set the agenda. And last year, they set the goal in 2021 to the next summer camp to go to Alaska. Now, my friends who are in Alaska are like, we live in Alaska, but you certainly understand that from South Carolina, if these young scouts had never voted to go to Alaska, it got us to work. And so we worked with them and they sold a lot of popcorn for anybody who's bought popcorn and everything. It's been amazing. But any kid who money was an object to going was able to fund it through the fundraisers we did. And we took a group of 19 scouts and leaders to Juneau, Alaska, to the Eagle River Scout Camp. And let me tell you, word has got out that if you are part of this troop, you get to go on some adventures, and some of them are outrageously grand adventures. We have nearly doubled the size of the troop in a year. And so it's new vision, right? It's just having a vision for what this could be. And so I just wanted to share that, that same type of vision, have that in your marriage. It actually makes it fun. You get to, and as you progress financially, what you get to consider is different. And did I say more expensive? Maybe, but it doesn't have to be. It just allows you to think about different things.
We did an episode not too long ago with a couple, Gary and Karen.
Oh, yeah.
And they have amazing vision now. And so if you're like, well, I'm not in Boy Scouts, how do I relate that? Well, if you're thinking about a marriage and you want to hear that, it's a great story to go listen to. We can link it in the show notes.
But get your Kleenex ready because you know what I love most when I watch Gary and Karen? How much they are devoted to one another and how emotional he gets.
They're sweet
about it. Yeah. It is awesome. And we love Gary and Karen and thank them so much for sharing their story. Hey, I have an angle on this, the Sangle angle. And the Sangle angle is this. Vision is so important that if you don't have vision for your marriage right now, this is your next date night. This is your next date night. Because without vision, the people perish. That's what Proverbs 29:18 says. And I know it's talking about just accomplishing stuff with life, but it applies to your marriage too. And if you were to supplant that and kind of interchange some words there, without vision for your marriage, maybe your marriage will perish. And no one wants that. And so I encourage you, work together, collaborate, put together some vision for what you want your marriage to do, how do you want it to reflect, how you want it to reflect to your community, to your family, to your kiddos, to those that know you best, and be a light in a world where a lot of people and a lot of TV shows really frown and look upside down on marriage. And be that shining light. It'd be awesome. That's my angle. What's your take?
All right. So I wrote down, vision can propel you forward in a way nothing else can. So vision can propel you forward to fill in the blank, to budgeting, to paying off your debt, to saving money, to investing, to, doing the hard things, when everybody else is going out to dinner and you're saying, I'm going to go home because I'm trying to save money. Or, when everybody else has these 18 streaming services and you're like, I'm going to stick to one and just watch that. It propels you forward to being able to to do the things.
Yeah.
And some of them hard, some of them easy, but it gives you the vision for the future. It gives you the, kind of helps you with the why.
That's awesome. Yeah. Great take. And so V, not Velvety, not Visa, not Vision, or not Velveeta, but Vision. Get Vision. Work on it this week. What is your vision? What's the vision for your relationships? And make sure that you have that for your love relationship, and you will have just a wonderful, glorious life together. Yes, filled with obstacles, but you'll be able to focus on the opportunities. You'll be able to use the right language. Life will be grand. Have a great day, everybody, and a great week.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit IWBNIN.com. We'll catch you next time.